and welcome to Bad Dog Comedy TV and Our Next Guest. As you well know, Our Next Guest is an entirely improvised interview program in which neither the guest nor the host know what the topic will be until the moment it appears on screen. Our guest will, of course, be an expert on that subject, even if they have never heard of it before. Now, without further ado, our host, Liz Johnston.
Dickens. Oh, I was just having a laugh at one of my all-time favorites, one of the great masters. I hope you'll join me in having a Kenny, in having a laugh, and having something more than a laugh as well. I have the distinct honor and privilege of No, we're fine for lights. Kenny, for the love of...
We bought it when we were going to call it Spotlight with Liz Johnston.
No, you've made it so I can't see. I cannot see. Is this where the camera is? Because at this point it seems all I've got is a blinding light.
It's on theme.
It's as though you've taken
spotlight on a certain.
It's not. It's not called a spotlight. It's not called Spotlight anymore, is it? The film came out. We just nixed the whole idea. Okay? We didn't think it would get the Oscar. It did, and now we've got Our Next Guest as a title. Thank you so much for joining us on Our Next Guest. I could not be more excited, more proud, or more, dare I say, titillated about my next guest. She is one of my greatest friends. For some time, one of my greatest enemies. But now I call her almost a sister. Please welcome to the stage and screen, your screen, Dr. Frances Nickenworth. Frances, welcome back to the program.
Lizzie.
Oh, come on. We talked about that.
Little Lizzie.
No, I've grown up, certainly.
Okay.
No. Well, Frankie, it's so good to see you.
Oh, Frances, I didn't
Yes.
go to school to be demeaned.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, Frances, I'm so glad to have you here. You haven't been on the program in some time.
No.
Welcome back.
This is amazing. I love everything you're doing here, and
thank you.
the set you've got here.
Yes.
There's a tension with the unlit candle.
Oh.
That I you know, it's something
Well,
it should be and it's not, and that's something I love.
We were told it was a hazard. So
Yeah.
But I liked the aesthetics.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Frances, I could gab on with you all day.
I know
But-
you could. I know you. The calendar's empty. So.
But I think probably best to dig into your work, since that's what you're known for, something that I've been in awe of you for so long. Of course, you are known around the world as an expert in folk dances of the Soviet Union.
Yes. Yes.
And that is, that is something that I studied for some time, Imperial Russia.
Yes.
Of
yes.
course, entirely different folk music, folk dancing.
Yes, from the folk realm of Russia, which is a separate entity altogether. There's Russia. There's, as we know it now, the Soviet Union and that mess. That kind of mistake. And then there's the folk realm, which is where I really studied, which is a whole other thing.
So tell me, Frances, when we look at folk dance,
Yes.
specific to the Soviet period, what differentiates it? What makes it stand out?
Well, we think of folk dance and we think of what first? Folk, and so we're thinking of the regular people. We're thinking of the commoners and what they had. So when we talk about the folk dancing of the Soviet Union, we're talking about a lack. They didn't have a lot. You should have seen those people when they got a McDonald's. They lost it. They absolutely went nuts for that and Levi jeans. So, so they had to make do with what they had, which was their bodies and dance. And that's what really drew me in, was a desperation in movement.
And you have been drawn, I think, to the desperate for some time. What I mean to say is, sorry, what I mean to say is.
Oh, I think I know the story you're about to tell. And, is there a mute button, Trump?
Kenny, don't mute
the debates.
Come on.
No, what she's referencing is a time that I actually. Oh, and she is muted. That's.
Kenny. Kenny. Sorry.
I've always no. I like.
I didn't say it. Listen, what
I
wanted
this guy.
Well, someone should. I think what I wanted to say, though, what I meant to say, of course, was the desperation of the people was so powerful, and you write about it so beautifully.
Yes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You have written over a dozen papers on the subject.
Yes, which I have put in PDFs. So they have been transferred into that form. So I have those kind of everywhere, online and around.
Yes.
If people want to, if you can put a link in,
Well,
put a link below.
Francis,
yes,
I think you're burying the lead a little bit. I think you might have it in a book coming out.
Okay.
Can you tell us something about that? It's being published, is it?
Yes, it has. It has been published. So
it's
and not self-published. It's my first big one that someone else wanted to do.
Right.
It's called In the Knees, and it's about the Soviet folk dancing. It's in the knees. The burden of the dances on the nationalized health care. So what this was all about was that the folk dance that was going on was very aggressive because there was a lot to dance out.
Right.
The whole thing, dance like no one's watching.
Is that from the Soviet period?
No, their thing was dance like you're always being watched. Because they were, because the government very oppressive. So they would be stomping out a lot of the aggression, and what they saw was a lot of knees that just crumbled. I mean, like the Iron Curtain, these are gone. So
the Iron Curtain, that's a bit heavy on the knees, I'd say.
It is.
I remember it was the Panopticon polka, I think, was one of the better.
Yes, you're always kind of looking around.
Always up, yeah, right.
Because when we think of the traditional Russian dance, we're seeing that one. I think we can all imagine it. We're low, the arms are this way, and we're going
yes.
That one.
Right.
Okay, they had to adapt to that because originally it was quite high, and they drop and they drop and they drop, and that screwed up a lot of knees.
Oh boy! And so thank you for finally tackling the subject. And
someone had to.
Someone did, and
couldn't have been you, Lizzie.
Okay.
She has not completed a book.
Well,
not
yet, Francis. not yet.
She's always emailing me at night, going, "Is this an idea for something?"
Well, I respect your opinion.
That's a dream you had. I don't think it's a book idea.
It's too bad. I think a lot of them have already been written. Is what it is. So
a lot of books have already been written.
Well, so I wanted to talk more about you, and I think for me the most powerful chapter in the knees is because I did manage to get my hand on a copy. Is of course chapter 10, People Powered, Moscow's Dance-Driven Power Station. Is that it?
Yeah. Yes.
Power Station. I think.
This is a very fascinating chapter that not a lot of people talk about.
What moved me most, is the way we think of how a nation powers itself, and I never thought to frame it the way you did. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. Well, yes, we think of how does a nation power itself, and we don't think of that literally. We think of that, hope or industry or this kind of. Yeah, no.
Right.
But what they actually would do, because they didn't have any kind of power that they could just, they couldn't use the power they wanted. They had to share it. This is communism. Yes. We all understand this concept. For the baby to have a bath, you can't. This kind of idea. So, right. So what they actually did was the dance groups in certain country regions would kind of get what we imagine to be a big turbine, but really they'd be on their backs dancing, kicking that around, just to get enough power to wash the babies, or for me to wash a baby and be able to wash myself, so in hot water.
Physically themselves, through dance, powering the community.
And in a way we think, dancing should be for fun. And so should communism, and that's how they trick you, because it should be for fun when you think about sharing. But ultimately,
well, sometimes sharing leads to,
well, people
tension.
being really hurt with each other, because you can't share certain things, like
certain things can't be shared.
People you can't share
relationships,
people.
Shall we say?
Yeah,
as it were.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the book is good, and and I'm very pleased with it, and I did the cover art.
You did.
I did.
Was going to ask you because I saw it myself, and I said to myself, "That's Frances. That is Frances."
It literally is. I painted my nude body.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Getting a little too,
No.
But
no.
yeah.
I think that's for a different website. But but no,
That can't air here.
No.
Not on the family show.
No, I love.
But I did actually, if you don't mind, got a copy.
Yes.
I got a copy sent to me. Okay, I was able to. Through
you contacted my publisher.
Well, exactly.
They actually told me you did that. So.
Well, we did ask. So here it is. That's the cover.
There I am, and that's my form.
Yes.
I've been told by many admirers that my body can be drawn in 6 lines, and then there we are.
There they are, and. I
think it'd be about 9 lines after quarantine. No, goodness,
What I will say, of course, is, I've asked you too many questions already. And I know my audience has some questions that they. I asked you not to bring the dog to set, Kenny. I'm sorry about that. Anywho, I wanted to talk to you though about my audience's questions, and there's a few that I have highlighted already, and that I will be asking. So the first, of course, actually comes from a fan. Kenny, it's not that one. Kenny, take that one. That's not that one. It's Kenny.
Okay.
All right, here it comes. The first question, of course, is from one of our younger fans. He's a young guy, and he asks, how did the Minsk masquerade scandal affect the Soviet folk scene? As we all, of course, remember, Minsk, that was a real tragedy. It was 93, is that right?
It was, yeah. Which was late in the scheme of things for the history of the. I mean, for the real height of
post Union, yes.
For the height of the folk dancing scene and what it was. But what was found out was that it was in a club. And it was the early 90s, and it was a real kind of one of these industrial goth scenarios. And what they found out was that a lot of these goths who were pretending to be Russian were actually they were Polish. And let me tell you, there's a lot of tension between those regions, and I'll go out on a limb to say it was this dance night that caused it. It was just a kind of what's my land, what's your land, was more of a what's my black trench coat, what's your black trench coat, and that led to a lot of international dilemmas that we see today. I had no
idea that Polish Ukrainian tension was.
It was about these goths,
wow.
and we don't associate folk dancing with goths, but that's a lot of what they're doing, because goths can be folks too, and that's that's something that I've been an advocate for ages.
Well, you were a goth for quite some time, back when we first.
I know you're not looking at me now. Ooh, isn't that a cream angel?
You're not quite the goth. No. I remember you had
a lot of
jutting out hair.
I had the Lady Liberty, so I had bangs that kind of went right, not just front bangs, but I actually invented the all around bang.
Did you come up with that?
I did. So
Francis.
I had bangs that went all around and straight out, and I go, you want to smooch? Get ready to lose an eye.
I remember a night or two where I saw someone coming away out of the bar.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you always peeking, always watching me from kind of far away to see what I was up to, because
just figuring it out. You were.
Yeah. Well, you gotta. We all learn from each other, and some of us blossom earlier than others, and that's. I don't even remember you being a redhead before I was.
I was though. It is natural. I've said it before.
You've never showed me a baby picture, and I've asked to see one.
I'll send one along. I think we have another question. I'm sure our audience has another question.
Yeah.
Kenny, for the love of God. But sure enough, our audience will want to ask you. I know what I want to ask you another little thing about, of course, which is, you were in a partnership for quite some time. Oh, sorry. What advice do you have for people looking to seize the means of dance production?
Right.
Which is, of course, a Soviet, idea. I think you covered it in the book.
Yes, which was the powering villages, as well as just getting kind of the same kind of man's pants, a lot of them out to kind of to the whole country, and that was also done through something called Dance in My Pants. And so what they would do is what they would do in the factories is they would when the pants were kind of too stiff to be sent out, they would all get in them and do a dance, and then they would kind of soften the raw denim. But
so it was almost as to counteract the lie or whatever it was. They would physically.
And a lot of those factory workers lost the skin on their legs because of this, and another lesson learned. But if you yourself are looking, Adrian, to seize the means of dance production, I would say, do you have a troupe? And this is a great place to start.
That's powerful.
Yeah, and then to go, what do I want to produce? So, say for you, you're thinking, I'd love to get, in the modern sense, I'd love to have an app. So then we're going to get the dance troupe together, and we're going to kind of put some iPads on the ground, and just, start with a dance and go, what am I thinking I need? And that's really the modern version of what we're talking about. They're doing this kind of stuff in San Francisco today, where they're just having some of these damn...
It's contemporary versions of the same.
Exactly.
You don't say.
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
yes.
well, we're getting up there, and I wanted to get into at least one more question here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was a request for a dance routine, but...
that went away really quickly, and then this one came up.
This one came right up, didn't it, Ken? Do you love or hate each other? There's a cute connection with some hurt there. What up?
Okay. Why don't you say what it is, Lizzie?
Okay.
Why don't you say? I love Liz, and I think she's just a really special girl, and I'm glad that she's found this live stream to do. I know she was trying to sell this to, to a real TV show,
we are
but
in
it
talks.
was, and it's different. Well, and
with networks.
And I've said that about myself with self-publishing. I go, well, we're in talks, but really,
I'll be honest with you, Andrea. We've known each other for decades at this point, and Frances. I've always looked up to Frances.
And I'm shorter than her. She's quite large.
I'm looking down. I'm looking down on this tiny frail thing, but I'm looking up.
Yes, I'm very small.
Just, like a munchkin.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
a leprechaun is the word I was looking for.
Yes. Well, it's
a troll, you know.
Well,
and but I'm looking up to Frances, and you know how a little bit of almost a sibling-like rivalry can develop. And I will admit, you know, at times you might see that flare up between the two of us, but I could not be happier about the book. I could not be happier for you and your success. And after years and years of mailed out PDFs, we now have
there it is.
something to celebrate.
That's well. Come get yourself over to the farm. I've invited you so many times.
Well, you know, it's so hard these days, obviously, but I do want to.
We would love
you know,
it.
After the horse incident last time, I'm a little bit anxious
Well,
to attempt it again.
And I did have to sell that horse, so
you know,
it won't scare you again. But anyway, I've loved this program. You're doing a great service to these cuties on the side.
Oh, come on. I mean, now these people come for you. They come for you. That's okay. Okay. But what I do, all right. Everyone's trying to get in. You know what, Frances, we're going to have you back because, Kenny, you can stop. But we're going to have you back for sure because I could talk to you at length, ad nauseum, about dance, about folks, and about each other. I really could.
I love it.
I love you to death. I think
I love you, honey.
Absolutely brilliant.
All right. Don't forget to drink water.
Oh, I have been
dry looking.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Good luck out there with the sales.
Love you,
See
honey.
You. Okay, bye. Love you. Frances is one of my closest friends, one of my mentors, and soon to be, I'm sure, one of my all-time favorite authors. She is a woman who can be drawn in 9 lines, but cannot be understood for all the words in the world. I know a lot of you have endeavored to discover more about our personal relationship, and maybe one day that memoir will be released, but today is not that day. I wanted to thank all of you for watching. A reminder that, as Frances so kindly reminded us, this is a live stream on a small network called Bad Dog Television, and we rely on the support of people like yourselves who are watching to make sure that programs like ours and the many, many others of fabulous, endless hours of programming, Kenny, continue. And we can't do that without the likes of you. Thank you so Kenny and I have had, for some time, a personal relationship which has come to an end. He is still a trusted advisor and the executive producer of my show. Anywho, we will absolutely be back Thursdays, 7 p.m. My guests next week are some of my most favorite human beings ever to grace the face of the earth. Following us tonight on this channel, of course, you can find a television program called Theater Sports. So go ahead and tune into that. Feel free to donate if and as you have the time. We would love to take that from you and to be able to give you more wonderful content like Frances. Frances, of course, as we all know, is 76, and I was so glad to have her on the program. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening. Join us again next week, won't you? Be